Hey team, how are you? So I'm doing a quick video today, just a short summary. Haven't got anything in particular that I want to talk about, but I just wanted to kind of share and express some contemplations. In particular, what I would like to kind of do is give an overview, a broad kind of brushstroke of my thesis. And that is that thought is energy. What we think is who we are. So we have to choose our thoughts very, very carefully. So I'll say that one more time. Thought is energy. What we think is who we are. So we have to be very careful in how we think, the thoughts that we hold, because those thoughts will materialize to become actions for us. They become who we are. If we repeatedly do them as habits. So thought is energy, what we think is who we are. And so when we look at the property of thought, we have to understand that thought isn't just something that is just happening. Thought has property, it has a weight, and what that means is it carries a character in it. It's just not one-dimensional, but it has a positive weight or a negative weight to it, and it's multi-dimensional. So we have to recognize that. So we are able to choose the thoughts that we want in our head. And thought is energy, so we have to choose the right thoughts to be able to hold in our head. So we have a thought bucket. What I've said before is we have a thought bucket, and that thought bucket can only carry one thought at a time. So if there's one thought in the thought bucket, it's full, and any other thought that tries to fall in will overflow out. So we have a thought bucket, and we have a series of thoughts that are going past us all the time, and we have a thought bucket that catches one thought. Now that thought, when it's in that thought bucket, becomes us. It's our being at that particular point in time. But preceding that, we are actually able to look at our thoughts and decide through willpower which thoughts that we want in the thought bucket and which thoughts that we want to exclude. So we are basically stepping back. We're stepping back one, and then we're looking and observing our thoughts, and we're navigating and directing through willpower which thoughts that we want to hold and which ones we want to keep in the thought bucket to become us. And so we have to have practice, a ritual, a routine, a deep practice to focus on what is called the fountainhead, because it's through the fountainhead that thoughts flow. So if we create, or if we can focus on developing a fountainhead, then we can get ahead of the thoughts flowing through and create a filter through which all thoughts have to come through. That fountainhead is what we call a mindset. So we develop a mindset, and through that mindset, only a specific type of thoughts, positive, proactive, empowering, those kind of thoughts are going to be flowing through. And so the mindset is developed through the exercising of willpower, and we exercise willpower by understanding that there are two states within us. We are a human being and we are a spiritual being. The spiritual being is at a higher dimension. It operates at the ethereal level, and things are basically, they begin there. That's the source. The blueprint is at that level, and the action is taking place at this level. And so the human being is the physical being that is linked to matter, and the spiritual being is the being that is operating at the higher dimension, but is inside the human being, sharing the shell of the human being. And so what we have to understand is that with with so we have the spiritual being and we have the human being, and what we have to do is exercise willpower by using the physical to reinforce and push the spiritual. And as we basically do that, then we're setting a mindset, and it's through that mindset that great thoughts are being filtered. Let me explain. What I mean by that is, what we do is we use resistance in the physical to build strength in the spiritual. What I mean by that is, for example, if you're jogging, if you're doing exercise, if you're running and you get tired but you keep pushing, so that pushing is you going ahead of the physical, you're going beyond the physical, you're tired, you don't want to do it, but you keep going. So the spiritual is pushing, willpower is being exercised, and that exercising of willpower is against the resistance of not wanting to run more or faster or further. And so you're using the resistance of the physical to basically build up the strength of the spiritual. You're building up the willpower muscle, and that is concentrating. The spiritual is basically concentrating a particular mindset of positivity, empowered thinking, proactivity, and those kind of thoughts. And so that's creating the mindset, and that's how we basically are able to get to a certain level where we actually can get to a point where we transcend. And transcend means we are able to detach ourselves from the physical and ascend, get to the spiritual, the higher dimension, release ourselves from our physical state, but still be in our physical state. So we've developed such a level of thinking, such a level of thought, that in the thought we have released ourselves. We don't actually physically release ourselves, but in the thought we're going and touching and connecting with the ethereal. And that's what basically is how we get to a level of what I call, we are the medium through which the higher power is dispersing energy, its energy or energy. And so remember, thought is energy. What you think is what you become. So when you cultivate such a level of evolved thought, then you as the medium become pure. You lose the noise, the interference that you represent because of your lack of understanding and awareness. But once you get that understanding and awareness through the exercising of willpower, then those things, the noise is taken away, and your pure conductivity and the higher power is basically dispersing itself through you. You're the medium, and so you become pure conductivity. And so then you're getting enlightenment, you're receiving wisdom through you, and that wisdom is being manifest through action, or is becoming action through the physical. And so that really is, in essence, what's happening. And that's our journey to become spiritual beings that are in the form, trapped in the shell of the human, but they're able to develop such a level of thought where they detach themselves from the physical while still in the shell of the physical, and transcend and ascend and get to enlightenment. And then they are able to receive that wisdom, that enlightenment, and through that reception of knowledge and wisdom and enlightenment, they take action, and that action is very powerful. And that's what we leave as the impact, our contribution to the world, and the world benefits from that. And that benefit is recognized as your reputation. And so really, ultimately, it's your reputation that you leave behind. Your actions are your reputation on planet Earth. And So the journey is an interesting one, and we have to develop deep practices and rituals, and the journey is about realization, getting to such a level of awareness of the higher power, and your insignificance relative to that, that you subjugate, you relinquish, you annihilate your identity in relation to that. And so that allows you to become a pure medium of conductivity through which energy can flow and take action. That's the journey. All right, guys, talk to you soon. I hope that makes sense. And I'm just sharing my my contemplations and things that I think about. I'd love to be able to hear your feedback on what I just presented as the thesis, my thinking on life. I always ponder and try and understand what the meaning of life is, and I think it's about transcendence, receiving enlightenment, and bringing that wisdom to the earth, and that earth benefiting from that wisdom and passing it on to the next generation. So at the macro level, the society, the world, the universe is increasing its awareness, its consciousness is being raised by knowledge being put into the physical from the spiritual, and that's your contribution to the universe. And then you depart and you move on, and and then that wisdom is there to be of value to the next generation, and so on and so forth. Take care, guys. Bye now.
Hey guys, how are you? It's day 26 of the 30-day challenge. Just doing my quick short jog, letting you know that I'm falling very short, but this maintaining the consistency on the jog is working. I haven't broken the challenge yet, and some major activity has to be done. All right, guys, I'm going to be feeling very tired, probably going straight to bed. Talk to you guys later. Bye now.